Well, hello, everybody. This is Pete Careers with another interview. Haven't done one in actually a few months for a variety of reasons, but this one we're going to do is choosing the 3 words to guide you. And I've been doing this for, 3 or 4 years now, choosing 3 words, and then those are the words that sort of are, you can see them down in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Those are my words that guide me in 2020. Today, I've got Belinda Wilkerson, who is the founder and principal counselor at Steps to the Future, and Claire Peters, owner of AHA Career Coaching, who have also done this activity. And what we're going to explore today are what are the words that we've each chosen, and sort of what do they mean to us. And then we'll talk a little bit about how we have gone about choosing them, because it might be quite different how we do it. So briefly, Belinda is a founder and principal counselor at Steps to the Future and helps families eliminate random acts of college planning. And Claire was saying she loves that. I love that statement too, because boy, oh boy, doesn't it happen all too often, random acts of college planning. Yeah, she's right. She's you can learn more at her website. And Claire is the owner of AHA Career Coaching. And she has a lot of experience working with college career counseling. And I like her website's cool, the AHA career, finding that aha moment. I've always liked that with Claire's position and the work that she's done. So anyways, I want to turn this over and get to our interview. You folks can go to their websites and learn more about what they do. I want to start off with, what are the words or phrases that you chose, and sort of what does it mean to you? And we're going to start off with Belinda.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so the words that I chose, I only have 2. I don't have 3 yet. I'm working on that 3rd one. But the words I have, the first word is pause, P-A-U-S-E, and the second word is service. And both of those words mean a lot to me, because 2019 was one of those years that seemed to be pretty hectic and left me a bit frazzled. So I just had to figure out where I was going next for 2020. And I didn't want to begin 2020 in the same frame of mind that I was in 2019. So I've been following Jim and reading his newsletter pretty regularly. And I love the idea of being intentional about the words you choose. So it took me some time. That's why I only have 2, because I really haven't decided on the 3rd one yet, but hopefully by the end of the month.
So what was your second one?
My second one is service. Yeah, to be in service to people. So a little bit about pause. Actually, what happened is I was talking to a relative, and she asked me, and she shared with me a YouTube video from a church in Alexandria, Virginia, Alfred Street Baptist Church. And actually the pastor did a sermon on Selah, which is the biblical word for pause. And he was talking about how he was taking a 3-month sabbatical, because he had been giving sermons for 4 times a week for the last 11 years without taking a break. And just listening to that sermon, I said, that's what I need. I need to take a pause. I really need to think about what that means in my life. So for me, it's like taking a pause from negative self-talk. It means taking a pause from feeling like, what I'm doing may not be as good as someone else. It's just taking a pause from feeling like I have to be working 24/7. It's taking a pause from not recognizing my boundaries or having professional boundaries, because I'll work 24/7 if you allow me to. So it really was about just taking a pause. And part of it, Jim, also came from the mindfulness class that I took with Sabrina Woods through your company. And the work that she talked about, that really made me think about, I just need to pause. So one of the things I did, I have the Calm app. I had it before, but now I actually use it. And I've set a timer so that a couple of times a day, the bell goes off, letting me know to just take a pause. So I've So I've been doing that pretty regularly since that mindfulness workshop with Sabrina. And then the second one, service, it's just how can I be more of service to others? Without it being something where I'm getting something in return, just being of service in whatever capacity that I can, wherever there's a need, if it's within my realm to do so.
Yeah. Your second word is interesting because I chose philanthropy as one of mine, and I didn't. I was looking for that word, and I kind of played with service, but I wasn't quite sure what the word I wanted. But when I looked up the definition of philanthropy, I realized it really was more than just giving money. I always thought of it as giving money,
Right.
but the actual definition is really about service for just humanitarian reasons, just for the good of it. And so that's actually one of my words too.
Yeah.
So Claire, what about your words?
Well, I chose worthy, wholehearted, and energy. And unlike Belinda, I just kind of blurt them out to myself, and those are my words. I just kind of go with my first impressions. But yeah, I can kind of tell you the story of how I was inspired to pick those words.
Yeah, and a little bit about what do they mean to you, sort of at this level, and how go ahead, go for it.
Well, I was inspired, of course, by you, Jim, because you send out your 3 words, and I think that's a really great idea. And I did it last year, and I'm doing it again this year. So I was inspired by you. I was also inspired, well, the first 2 words, I was inspired by a Brené Brown TED Talk from 2014 on vulnerability, the power of vulnerability. And I guess in talking about this, I'm going to make myself a little vulnerable. But so I've been working the past few years on feeling more connected. And in her talk, Brené Brown says that people who feel connected have this one thing in common, and that is that they feel that they're worthy. And I know that I, like many people, sometimes struggle with that, feeling worthy. But if I want more connection in both my personal and my professional lives, I need to up my sense of self-worth. And my career coaching business is very small right now. I've got a lot of other things going on in my life, including a full-time job and a teenager and blah, 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 blah. But I know that if I want to build my business, which I do, despite my busyness, I need to feel that I belong, that I'm worthy of belonging in the coaching world, and I need to make more connections and be willing to be vulnerable. I need to fully embrace the idea that I'm providing a service to people that is something people need, and it's worthy. It's a worthy service. It's worthwhile.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Brown also said in that TED Talk that people who feel a sense of worthiness and belonging are, the word she used is wholehearted. And that word really stuck with me, wholehearted. To me, wholeheartedness means really alive and willing to be vulnerable and experiencing lots of joy and sorrow, if that's what comes along, just experiencing what comes along and diving into things with intention, with purpose, and with energy. And that's how I want to be with my career coaching business and everything else in my life. So the word energy resonates with me because I often feel, and I'm sure I'm not alone here, that just the tasks of life, working and parenting and daily chores, and the struggle of trying to decide whether to be well-informed or blissfully ignorant about current events, that can really take a toll on our energy. So in the past couple of years, I've been working on attending to my energy, meditating, breathing, pausing, trying to remember to pause and take breaks, searching, always, trying to find more opportunities to laugh. I love to laugh, and that gives me energy. And then, eating more vegetables, things like that. I've got some Brussels sprouts in my fridge right now that I swear I'm going to roast. I'm going to roast those babies. Never done it before, but I'm going to. And the word energy for me goes well with wholeheartedness because it takes energy to be wholehearted, and the wholeheartedness connects back to worthiness and belonging. So that's how I
Nice.
chose those words.
Nice. So my other two words besides philanthropy was rebalance was the one, and that was a word that just, when I'm talking about boomers, I always, people, they don't retire. I really feel people rebalance, and I've spent so much time and energy building my business. Actually, it's my 8th anniversary, February 3rd.
Oh, wow.
Happy
Congratulations.
Yeah, of full time. That's with full time. I've been doing it since 2001, part time, but 8 years full time. But it's a lot of energy to get things going up, and lots of time. And I'm really now at a point where there's a lot of stuff that's working, and now I really want to make sure that I'm keeping balance in my life. And making sure. So like I go for walks first thing in the morning. So I always get a walk, and I'm going to get another one today because my neighbor wants to go after lunch. So I'll take another walk, but I always get one walk in because I go before breakfast, and then no matter what happens. And but I'm really also trying to make sure that I'm reading. I'm trying to make sure that I'm taking my meditation break, because Calm, I got an app that goes off at 2:30 in the afternoon. So if you call at 2:30, I'm probably not going to answer the phone. So I really want to keep that balance in my life. And then strategic, and strategic is actually related to rebalance, the word rebalancing for me, because I really want to be more strategic in where I'm spending my time, and make sure that I'm spending time that has good benefit to it, good return. Whatever it is, doing something, I'm going to do like a career development program for the Boys and Girls Club, right? I mean, so that's time, very strategic time. This is what it's going to look like. That's what I want to do. What I do with Peak Careers, interviews like this, very strategic time, trying to be very more thoughtful about where I'm spending my time, And so there is a connection between some words, but so anyways, let's talk a little bit about how you go about choosing those words. I mean, Claire, you kind of said they
just come to me. Yeah. I had just rewatched that Brene Brown talk. So they were very in my mind, and your email came through about your 3 words. And yeah, they kind of just come out of my mouth or out of my mind. And that's it. That's what I choose.
But it was a TED Talk again. So you say that, but it's oftentimes I think comes from doing those kinds of things, watching a TED Talk.
Right.
And it's like,
right.
You could have 100 people listen to that TED Talk, and they may or may not have picked wholehearted out of that TED Talk. They may have, something else may have resonated with them, so
absolutely. Yeah.
It's a matter of paying attention to what's going on in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want to give the impression that it's just, something I just come up with without any thought. I mean, there's definitely intention and thought. It's just not the kind of thinking like, oh, was it this one, or is it this one, or is it this one, or is it this one?
Yeah, it's not like a Scrabble game,
I felt those 3 words, so those were the ones
I like for me, I mean, I had a hard time picking, I think it was philanthropy that I was really having the hardest time with. I think strategic and rebalance came early to me. And I was out, sometimes when I go out for a walk, I plug in and listen to public radio or a podcast or something. And I was listening to public radio that particular day, and they were talking about philanthropy. And I went, right, that actually might be it. And then I came back and looked up the definition, and I went, that's it. So that came to me over time, of listening and thinking and whatnot. So, Belinda, how do you come up? How do you got to go through this process?
Well, this time last year, my major word was purpose, because I was really trying to focus on what my purpose will be. So this year, what happened? I'm kind of like in the midst of this spiritual reimagining, trying to figure out where I am in that respect. So when my relative sent me that copy of sent me the link for that YouTube video to watch this sermon and listening to this pastor talk about taking a pause. I said, oh my God, that resonated with me so much, because since I started my business in 2011 when I relocated from Rhode Island to North Carolina, and I really had to start all over again. It was restarting a career, creating a career that didn't exist before in a new place where I didn't have a professional network. So from 2011 right on through last year, it was just nonstop trying to build this business, trying to create a social network, trying to do this. And I was feeling like frazzled, just completely like I was just, that hamster on a treadmill where you're just constantly moving. And when I listened to him, I said, that's what I'm feeling. I need to take a pause. I need to take a pause from different things. And it just resonated with me so, so much. And with the word service, there are a lot of things I do in the community. I've always been service oriented because that's how my mother raised me. But I just wanted to be more intentional about my service and not do a little bit here and a little bit there. And one of my great, honors this year is I love reading. And Jim, when you talked about your book review, that's another story. But one of the things I did when I first moved to North Carolina was, to get a library card. And then through my interactions with the library, I'm now on the Board of Trustees. And as of this year, I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees. And that's not something I would have imagined for myself 10 years ago. So, and that came about by being of service to the library.
Yeah.
By volunteering with the program for 6 years now, and someone just recognizing that. And I just want to tell Claire, I love your word worthy. One of my favorite singers, India Ari, her new album is titled Worthy. And the title song on it is about being worthy. Yeah. And that is just, I don't know, Claire, you might have given me my third word.
Hey, go for it. I'd love to share a word with you.
Yeah, again, that resonates so much.
Yeah. I was just thinking as we were talking, I think we choose the words we need in our lives.
I do. I agree. Yeah. Absolutely. It's whatever I'm sort of struggling with, or thinking about it's a word that's important to me. But, and when I choose it, it's almost a relief when I choose that word, And so for me, I try to go on a retreat once a month. It doesn't always happen, but I try to do a once a month retreat where I just sort of turn off technology, turn off the social media, and I go to a friend's office and she lets me use it. And I sit and think and write, and I go back and flip through my journal. I try to journal every day, and I kind of flip through there, and I'm looking for themes. What am I writing about every day? And so you're right. I think it's words that it's something that we need. Mm-hmm. That's calling to us, and that's the word, So, and what's interesting now is, when I start my journal every day, I write my 3 words, And it's not that I forget the last year's word on gratitude. I mean, gratitude will always be a part of my life. I mean, gratitude, I'll always try to send thank you notes and be grateful and all that good stuff. But now my words are, I write them every day. Sometimes I write something about them, and sometimes I just write the word,
mm-hmm.
And it's just sort of,
that helps keep it in your,
it's embedding that in my head. Yeah. And I also put them up. I don't know if you can see, I got a calendar over here, a wall. It's a 3-month calendar. Every month has one of the 3 words on it. So I sort of, and then I keep them. I've got little images, and I got one on my mirror in my bathroom, and one on the printer right here, and and so I try to keep those words in front of me. And it's amazing how those words mean different things on different days. Mm. Hmm. Like even this whole service idea, sometimes it's a bigger deal than right. Project that I'm doing, again, maybe with somebody in town, but it might also just be something really simple, just, whatever, just giving someone a ride, or, or letting somebody pass me, letting somebody get out when I'm on the road. It's just, just help, it's there, it's always kind of keeping me there.
That's so true. That's so true. I really like what Claire said about the words that come to us are the words that we need at that time. And if I look back at my words, they're exactly what I needed. I love the word pause so much that there's a local artist who creates folded pages of books with words and with images. So I had her create one for me. So I have a book that has the word pause, and when you see the book opened, it spells out the word pause.
Oh,
you posted that. It is very cool.
Wow.
She is amazing. So she was doing this thing like, send me your word, and I said, could you do one with the word pause? And she did, and it's incredible. And so it's up on my shelf in the living room, so I see it every single day that I walk by that shelf.
Oh, I love
So now
that.
I'm thinking I might do it with the other words too.
Yeah.
But keeping those words in front of us, I mean, that's what matters to me. Is I want to keep that word in front of me, and I just think about it. And what does it look like? I mean, strategic it can be in my personal life, it can be in my business life. It can be lots of different kinds of things. But I'm thinking about it. All three words. I'm thinking about all three words every day. Anyway, any final thoughts before we say goodbye here?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for starting this, because
Yes.
I know when I first started reading your newsletter and you had your words, it did plant that seed to be thinking about this. So this year when it was coming around, I think I was more prepared than I was last year, because I was thinking about it. Yeah.
Well, Chris Brogan is the one who's been doing it for a while, and a friend of mine turned me on to it, and I thought, that's pretty cool. So I'm doing it this is my 4th year, I think, doing it. So yeah, but Chris Brogan and I actually interviewed him last year, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I wonder if something in me wants to come up with a new word every month, like an intention for the month. I don't know. I'm going to play around with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that I would get rid of my 3 words for the year, but just like, because, things come up and things talk to you and speak to you. And
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, you got to listen to that intuition. We human beings have survived because of our intuition, right? We didn't survive because we had computers 8,000 years ago. We survived because we had intuition, and we were listening to, this person is a good person. This person is this person or place is dangerous, right? And I think too often in this day and age, we think that, the computer was going to solve this problem, or the technology is going to solve my problem. And the reality is we got to listen to that voice in our that comes in our head and in our heart. It's sort of, you just got to pay attention to those things. And
by pausing.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you both very much. Just to wrap up here, I'm Jim Peacock, and I'm with Peak Careers Consulting. I've offered the Facilitating Career Development class since 2001. I have online discussion-based seminars, which I've been doing for quite a while now, since 2010. Face-to-face workshops. I do individual career coaching, and I came out with a book last year, Field Guide for Career Practitioners. And if you are a person that provides career services, you may want to sign up to get my weekly career email, and you get the top 10 tips of working with an undecided person. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram, although LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter are my big places that I spend most of my time. So thank you both for joining me today and talking about our words, our two or three words. And nice to see both of you.
Thank you, Jim.